Well, good morning, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get started. Hello, and thank you for coming. Everyone, my name is Kathy Federico, and today we're going to present to you some special new releases on loan programs to help get you guys started with the new year. So first of all, after I say good morning, I always say to you real estate agents that attend these kind of educational events that it speaks volumes to your industry or you as a real estate agent that you would attend a meeting like this to better educate yourselves, to be able to help your clients, to help your business, and to help this industry all together. So we applaud you for attending seminars like this. Today we're going to bring you some great information about some new loan programs and products that have just been released. Our hope here is to provide you with the tools to help you out there when you're talking to clients, to maybe bring a client who's maybe on the fence and a maybe to a yes, let's move forward. So that's our intention, to help you as real estate agents do that in the field. Our presentation today is going to bring some information about the new Home Ready program, which will assist your buyers with low down payment options in special circumstances, 97% conventional, FHA, CalHAPAs, and other loan programs with special features that we learn about. But first, let me introduce our sponsors, Farmers Insurance, Gus Alvarado's office. We thank you very much for your sponsorship. And his income appreciated. All right.
Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I do marketing with Gus Alvarado, and I also do contact managing.
Yes, she just started, so that's awesome. My name is Antonio Cardenas. I work with Gus Alvarado's Farmers Insurance. Many of you guys know Gus. You know how long he's been in the business, for over 25 years now. That's a long time just to be doing insurance. Real quick, I want to let you guys know that we are starting a new referral program for real estate agents, lenders, escrow, all people that are in the business of real estate. If you guys want to know more about that, I'll be in the back, or after the meeting, you guys can talk to me, or just give me a call at 661-733-8095. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony. Thank you, Tony. And now a word from our WCR, Rosie Garcia.
I'm in the back for pictures and autographs. Good morning, everybody. Rosie Garcia. Today I have my Women Council of Realtor hat on, but every other day or every day I'm Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. We'd like to invite everybody to come out this Thursday to the Yard House by the mall. 5 to 7 is happy hour, so we will have appetizers, and our yearly big Valentine mixer is this Thursday. So please note it in your calendars, jot the date down, make sure you're there. All our events are free to members and $10 for non-members. But we would love to see you out there. If you are considering joining an organization this year, we would highly recommend that you join our organization. We're about empowerment, we're about education, and anything that will help educate the real estate community. So again, we would love to see you at the Yard House this Thursday, 5 to 7. Also, another important day to keep in mind is next month, March 17th, which is St. Patrick's Day, here at the Hellenic Center. We are bringing Gov Hutchinson from the California Association of Realtors, and he is the attorney. So he will be coming out to speak to us. Gov always has great information for the realtors to stay out of court, new programs, new laws. Gov is just full of great information that we as realtors need. So please mark that down, March 17th here at the Hellenic Center. And we hope to see you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Rosie. All right, and now we're going to go into a little bit about us, about Pacific Funding and what we do and what we're all about. Read my notes here. Hold on. We'll go over this, and then we'll have a brief question and answer at the end, followed by raffles and prizes. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so a little bit about us. First of all, we are a fully approved, a local direct lender. We have full in-house operations staff, including processing, underwriting, docs, and funding. You guys, that's the secret sauce to how we get stuff done. That's how we get it done efficiently and quickly. Your local Palmdale branch is on 10th Street West. There's the address. It's right in the Trader Joe's shopping center, and we're right in between Big Tuna and Bed Bath & Beyond. So we're right there. You guys can come on in and see us. Corporate office is located right down the hill in Valencia. So if we need to go there for any reason, we have full access to the corporate office. But everything's self-sustained in Palmdale. And we were founded in 1995 by our president, Mike Moeller. So that's a little bit about PFMD.
Well, wait, geez, I'm so sorry. You must be Kathy Federico?
I'm Kathy, and you must be homebuyer Joe. Hello.
I'm Joe. I'm sorry I'm late. I've been working long hours, and I really didn't mean
Well,
to
thank you so
be
much
late
for
to
rushing
get
on
here.
over here after work.
It's not a problem. So I'm a first-time home buyer. I'm hoping you can help me.
I sure can, Joe, and thank you again for work. My name is Kathy, and I'm going to help you out with your financing today. Joe, your realtor told me just a little bit about your situation and what you're kind of looking for. So if you mind, I'll ask you just a few quick qualifying questions. We'll just have a brief discussion, and let's see if we can get you into something, okay?
Okay.
All right, perfect. So let me ask you just a few starter questions. How do you think your credit is?
My credit's pretty good. I actually just pulled it up at home. I got a 682 credit score.
682 credit score. Well, that's excellent. That is good, because with that credit score, you're going to qualify for some of the top programs available. Are you a first-time home buyer?
Well, yeah.
You are a first-time home buyer,
Yeah.
okay? All right, excellent. What do you think your annual income is?
My W-2 for last year, I looked it on the way, was 74.2, I think.
74.2.
Pretty sure.
Okay, excellent. Well, that is excellent news. And how long have you been on your job?
I've been there for a year.
For 1 year?
Year and a couple months, actually.
Okay, got it. And what did you do prior to that?
I was in school.
In school, okay. And you got your certificate as a home. Joe, will you marry me? That's a working man. I got a house. Hold on, next question. Tell me about your family.
Well, it's my wife and 2 kids.
Wife and 2
It's
kids.
just-
Okay, wonderful. So family of 4. How much would you say you have available to invest in down payment or closing costs?
That's where the problem is. I got about $1,500.
Okay, all right.
Am I wasting your time?
But we can work with that. We can work with that. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to show you some great programs that are available to you, and with some special features and other options.
Did I
Now-
mention I got $80,000 in student debt, my wife and I?
Okay, $80,000 in student loan debt because you were in school prior to the job that you
Yeah.
worked a year ago.
We
All
both-
right.
We both have student loan debt. But it's deferred, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Well, we still have to count some of it, but I'll let you know. But just what I'm thinking in my head, Mr. Joe, is that I have a fantastic program for you right off of the bat, which is going to bring you into a home for you and your family. Now, the first scenario I have is option number 1. These are your loan options. Now, this is our conventional Cal plus Zip, layered with a My Home Assistance program. This program is going to qualify you for a house that costs about $250,000 based on your income and debts and from our conversation that we just had. Interest rate on this is 4.375. It's fixed for the whole thing, 30-year fixed. Your payment on this scenario is going to be $1,710. Your down payment
which is your 3% down, because you qualify with your credit score for the maximum available. Your down payment is going to be $7,500. Your closing costs are a little over $13,000. So
I got $1,500.
exactly.
Kathy.
So before your down payment assistance, you're going to need $20,000, right? But here's the beautiful thing: down payment assistance programs now kick in. Uh-oh.
Yeah, something happened.
All right, well, I will tell you. It's a all right, so we have our zero interest program, which is going to kick in to help you with $7,275 in down payment assistance. And then our My Home Assistance program is going to kick in with 5%, which is $12,500.
Wow.
Now, all that's left is, what is it, Roxie? $1,000?
1,020. Is your total.
1,020. So here's, you can't really see it. Wait, if okay, yay! So 1,020 is what you're going to have to bring in. So, Mr. Homebuyer Joe, if you're comfortable with a house that's $250,000 and a payment, principal, interest, taxes, insurance, mortgage insurance at $1,710, and you bring in $1,020, we can get you into that home. Isn't that fantastic news?
That's
Now, I would
fantastic.
like to show you one other option, which is our FHA option.
Okay.
And then in a minute, I'm going to tell you exactly how these zero interest program and the My Home Assistance work out. This is an FHA option. So on FHA Cal plus ZIP plus the My Home Assistance, you're also going to qualify for the same amount, $250,000. Interest rate is a bit lower at 3.75, again for 30-year fixed. Your monthly payment's going to be $1,664.
Well, that looks better.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I go ahead and take that?
Well, the payment is lower, but let me show you the difference, okay? You're going to have the down payment of $87.50, and your closing costs are just about the same, a little bit lower. So your total before the down payment assistance program is $22,032. Down payment assistance. So on this program, you're getting a little bit more down payment assistance. That's allowable. And again, you have the 682 FICO score, so you qualify for the maximum amount. The zero interest is $85.91, and the My Home credit is $12,500, making for a total of
$945.
$945 to bring you into a home that costs $250,000.
Wow.
Now, Mr. Homebuyer Joe, you're probably asking, well, what's the difference? The difference is it's up to you. It's up to you. These are some options. My job is to show you the options. You pick the one that you're most comfortable with. There's a difference in how the underwriter will look at these two scenarios. One of the big things that I can think of right now is how they would look at your $80,000 of student loan debt. In the debt to income ratio, we do have to count that. On the conventional, they're going to count 1% of the balance in your debt ratio. FHA, they're going to count 2% of the balance in your debt ratio. Now, you'll qualify for both because of your scenario, but if that was a deciding factor to get you into a house, then of course we would choose option number 1, which is a conventional. But option number 2, which is the FHA, is open to you. Another reason why you would use, go back. You would use the conventional is if maybe the property needed to go conventional. That would be an option for you too. Okay, go ahead. Okay, and then now we're going to go into a little bit of the Cal ZIP with My Home features. So I'm going to go just a little bit into what that is and how that comes about. So go ahead. So this is the conventional Cal plus ZIP. So this is a second loan available with Cal Plus. It is a silent second for 3% of the first mortgage amount. The interest rate is 0%. The interest rate is 0%. So on the conventional ZIP, ZIP means ZIP, zero interest program. So they borrow that, what was it, $8,700?
$8,750.
At 0 interest. That's on conventional. On the FHA ZIP, zero interest program, it's also a second loan available with Cal Plus. And it's a silent second for up to 3.5%, depending on the credit score. And we'll go into that in just a minute. On the Cal FHA first mortgage loan amount, the interest rate, again, is 0%. 0%. We can layer that with the My Home Assistance program, which is My Home. The My Home Assistant is also, this is a deferred payment, simple interest, subordinate loan that may only be used with a CalHFA first mortgage. It provides up to 5% of the sales price or appraised value of the property, whichever is less. So on that example of $250,000, 5% of that is $12,500 that goes towards Mr. Joe's down payment and closing costs. And then you can bring in between $1,020 and $945. So that's how that works. These are silent seconds, so they are in second lien position, and there's no payment due on them for the duration of the loan or until the house is sold or refinanced. Okay. Now there are income limits. Income limits do apply, and you have on your paper that you took from the table. You can look at LA County, family of 4, and he should be right under that income limit. It's just a little higher than 70,000. Mortgage insurance is it's standard on the FHA and on the conventional. It is reduced. But the payment that we showed includes everything. It's all inclusive. Yeah. So everything's included on there. Now, the one thing that I need to mention is that if Mr. Joe had a lower FICO score than 682, then what would he do? On these programs, he can have a 640 for the FHA. This is going to be your difference, so I'm just going to tell you what your difference is. Instead of getting the 3.5 zip, this would go to a 2.5 zip. So basically, he would have to bring in a little bit more money on the 640. So he can still do the program. It's just that the FICO score is below 680 to 640 to 680, then it's going to be 2.5% on that second zip. But this remains the same at 5%. Isn't that a great program, you guys? Come on, that's phenomenal. That is really going to help out some buyers. Now the $945 and the $1,020, if you ask us for a seller credit, sometimes the seller is willing to cover that if they absolutely don't have any money to come in with at the closing. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. All right, and then we'll go to the next slide here. And now Dan's going to talk about some other options here in his coveralls. That was hilarious. Yeah, Dan, get the other way on this one. Wow.
All right, well, Joe lied. Not only was he married and flirting with women in the audience, but he's a scoundrel. He owned a property in Iowa 2.5 years ago, and he didn't think it was a big deal because it wasn't in California. So when Kathy said, are you a first-time home buyer? Well, Joe thought, well, in California I am. So what Kathy did to save the day is she moved him out of the CalHFA programs, which are wonderful, and she moved him over to the new Fannie Mae Home Ready program. So the Home Ready program is brand new. It replaces My Community, and it's really designed to help the underserved lending community. It's designed to take underwriting guidelines and open them up in ways that really are meaningful to people in the way that they really live. It's not a first-time homebuyer program. It's a you can only own one home at a time program like FHA. It allows down payment and closing costs to be paid for in a gift, much like FHA. But where it really starts separating from FHA and where it parts company is that the MI is cancelable on that program, as is the case with conventional loans. The deferred student debt that Kathy talked about is a huge thing. When we're doing these pre-quals and we see the student debt, it's like, oh my God, here we go. Where are we going to put it? You know, which kind of loan? It's a maze. It's a matrix like the one that we handed out. The 2106 issue is also huge between FHA and conventional. So it's not just as simple as, being able to think, oh, I'll send my buyer to do an FHA loan. The situation determines the type of loan that person is going to get more than ever. The 2106s are the unreimbursed business expenses. And on an FHA loan, they're counted dollar for dollar. I mean, you average them for 2 years and you subtract it from his income. On a conventional loan, they don't care. They look at that and they realize that, well, people are doing that as a tax dodge. It's not real anyway, so let's ignore it, and that's what they're doing. So from our seat, there's a huge difference. So the conventional loans have become much, much more important to the lending community and to you guys, and that's a huge reason why. The Home Ready program is a 620 credit score. So, you know, very friendly credit score. So Fannie takes an additional step and goes way beyond FHA then. You know, they are they're trendsetters. They're really trying hard to do things that really help people, that make sense. Home ready borrowers can use cash on hand. So that ought to create an ooh from the crowd. Cash has been a dirty word in lending for 10 years. Any kind of cash has been a serious problem for us. There are restrictions on using that cash.
What does cash on hand mean? Like in the mattress?
Yeah. Yeah, mattress money. We're talking mattress money. And it's something that you have to document. You've got to show that that borrower has used mattress money, that they don't have more than 3 trade lines or a bunch of accounts, and they're not just trying to say they have mattress money. You got to show that their bank account is sparse. You got to prove somehow. There are different ways that they allow you to do it. That the cash is really usable and hasn't been borrowed or gotten in some other way. Border income is allowed. So if you've got somebody who's been living in the home with them and they want to buy a new house and they want to use that income, that border income counts as actual income. You have to document they've been there a year. That's something FHA doesn't even come close to. The multi-generational extended family issue is addressed by Fannie Mae in this too. They allow for non-borrower occupying household occupants. So that's like mom lives with you, your grandma lives with you, somebody lives with you. You can use their income, not as income, but to push your ratios up. And what the ratios do is they allow you to buy more house. You can go from 45 to 50 by using that additional income. If there's a rental unit underneath, if there's like a separate unit on the property, same APN, but a rental unit that's on the property that's not considered like a unit, like an apartment unit, not with its own utilities, you can use rental payments from that as income, towards your income. Non-occupying borrowers are okay too, and that's to 95%. But I mean, it's just very, very clear that what Fannie Mae is doing is they're opening it up. They're making it so some of these borrowers that we see that where you do have multi-generational households now have a chance to get financing. I mean, what at the NARA installation on Saturday night, the national president of NARA talked about the underserved communities, how there are certain segments of our population that just aren't getting loans right now. Fannie Mae is taking at least one step towards handling that. Non-traditional credit is okay on this program. And you kind of figure they're going to draw the line somewhere, but non-traditional credit means I don't have a credit score. What do I do? Well, you use your utility bills and your rent and that sort of thing. That works on this. High balance loans work on this if you've got a larger property. Units, 1 to 4 units work on this program. So by now you're saying, all right, what's the catch? All this, there's got to be something. Well, there's sort of half a catch, kind of literally half a catch. The income limits that are imposed through this program apply on 50% of the housing in America, and that's it. So half of the neighborhoods in the country don't even have an income limit on this program, and half do. Fannie Mae has a site, there's a handout that you've got here, this thing, that has the eligibility. And you start thinking through this from a realtor seat in terms of houses that you're listing, or in terms of your buyers, or where you're wanting to, how you're wanting to guide them. It's a good idea to know what those neighborhoods are. It doesn't take long to become familiar with them. The Fannie site is very, very easy to navigate. And you click on it. Once you get it open with an address, you click on it anywhere, and you can move it around and click on it, and it'll tell you what the exact, of that address, what the exact eligibility is. In many cases here in the Antelope Valley, there is no income limit. The whole east side of Palmdale seems to be free of income limits. There are places on the west side, I went through it last night for a while, but that's, you know, it represents, this program represents a huge opportunity. If you look at this page, the matrix page, you'll see the home readies here, and the 97s here, and the 5% conventionals here. And you see, you know, you're kind of comparing apples to oranges. You get down to the bottom of the 97% home ready, and it's $15,000 to get into the house. I mean, Kathy was presenting programs to Joe at $1,000, and now we're at $15,000. Fortunately, Joe's dad's rich. He's got piles of money, and he's fine with this. He was, you know, really upset that the other deal couldn't go through, but really happy with Kathy for saving it.
Hey, Kathy.
Yeah. The next step, if it didn't work for Joe, would be to roll over to a 97% conventional loan. Those loans are really good too, so just recognize that there are 3% conventional loans out there. They are first-time home buyer loans, but only one person has to be a first-time home buyer. We've got one going right now where only one of them is a first-time home buyer, and it works. Then the next step down, or the next step along the road, is this 95%, the 5% down conventional. And the point that I want to make about this, and I won't go on for much longer, and we're running short of time, is that MI becomes a very important issue on these things, mortgage insurance. The mortgage insurance rate is where the beef is. You've got on your 97% home ready, the new program with all the new features, it has a 0.25 MI factor, which is lower than the FHA MI factor, which is pretty low. The 0.85 is pretty low. It's 2.5. That probably amounts to like 0.55 or something. I didn't do the math on it before coming. The standard 97% conventional on that loan, the MI, compared to the 97% home ready, the one next to it, goes up $100, $100. So that's a lot. But if you, I had clients in my office, 2 weeks ago. I had the father and the mother and the son, and I thought they were just nickel and diamond to death. And I'm like, okay. And I finally looked up and said, well, how much money is there? What, how much money is it? What am I going to see when I see the bank statement? Dad said, I got $180,000 in my account. You would never have guessed it. I'm like, okay, great. So we no longer have a money problem. And we started talking about the 95% conventional. So for $5,000 more, Dad was able to cut his mortgage insurance by $100 a month for $5,000 more. And $5,000 is nothing, Dad. It's fine. I'll do that. It's not a problem. Let's do that. Let's do that loan. So MI is where the beef is in many cases. On Kathy's program, the MI is the lowest of the low. The CalHFA, it's 0.18. It's just, it's nothing. Very, very low. That's what makes these programs tick in terms of the numbers in many cases. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Kathy.
Before you go, though, I just want to review again the special features that were on that Home Ready program, because this is the stuff that's new. This is the new releases that Fannie has just came out, and I just want to reiterate to you how special this stuff is. No other program right now has this stuff, go ahead, where you can allow border income. That's if somebody is renting out a room in your house. You can use that income to help qualify your buyer. Now, it has to be documented. Usually it's 12 months canceled checks, but we can use it on this program. The next one is the entire down payment can be a gift. On the 5% conventional, right, or it's 3% now, I think the guidelines changed, sorry. But some of the money has to be from the buyer's account. On this, the whole thing can be a gift. So whatever dad wants to give as a gift, that's acceptable. Non-borrower household income is considered. Read that again, you guys. Non-borrower household income. If somebody isn't going on the loan, but they're gonna live in the house, like grandma, we can use that income. Now, there are restrictions to it. We can push the ratios up so that they'll qualify for a little bit more. There are strict restrictions to it, but it's allowable. These things aren't allowable on any other program. This is the new stuff that Fannie Mae is stepping up to the plate. Can use cash on hand, restrictions apply, okay? So that's another great thing. The cash on hand, like Dan was mentioning, he did a great job, is we have to show a history of the guy using cash. The buyer has to use cash. Maybe he doesn't have a bank account, maybe he just has 1 or 2 trade lines of credit and that's it, but he typically pays cash for everything. And we can show, look, he's been working at this job, where's all his money coming? We use a budget letter to show where his money is being allocated to, and we can show that the cash is believable, that he would put it in the safe at home, and now he wants to deposit it into a bank and use it to purchase a home. That is powerful stuff. Go on to the next. Income limits apply depending on the home location. Look at that website that Dan was so nice to print out for us. It's the one that he just showed you. The websites are on there. That is awesome because most of these Palmdale, there's no income limits on it. So you can make $100,000, you know, and use this program. And there's no first-time home buyer requirement, but you can't own other properties. So, I mean, that's kind of self-explanatory. You just can't own, you know, 3 or 4 homes. And they do need home buyer education. So I just want to reiterate that slide because that is some powerful stuff with this new Home Ready program. And we're getting a lot of responses from it. Now, you guys got a flyer when you walked in about the Home Ready program. You got a matrix, right? Did we give them a matrix of how it works and the features that it has? So this is the new stuff. All right, so beyond that, we also have our standard programs. Hold on, we're gonna have questions in just a second. FHA, conventional, VA, USDA. We also have the MCC credit programs. But, you know, with time, we have a little bit of time left. Okay, go ahead. All right, and now question and answers. Yes, Ed.
Can you overcome that border income by the cash situation? Usually when you're renting a room in your home, you know, the easiest thing is just give you the cash. Can you overcome that situation by...
I'm going to let Dan answer that one. What do you think? Because we just read through all those guidelines.
Yeah. I think maybe you can. I mean, the guidelines really are trying hard to reach in that direction. That's going to be an investor-to-investor issue. That's the sort of thing that you'd want to look at, kind of isolate and look at and get a viewpoint on from an underwriter before stepping into it.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
Because typically speaking, when you do that, when you go in to get a loan, you know, then you pop this situation on them. You know, they haven't done it for the past 4 months. So does that mean that from that point forward, they're going to have to go to the check writing system and wait another 12 months?
So if they have someone living in their home now and they can't document that at all,
Well, they're getting cash.
but they're getting cash. That's a really good question. That's the intricacies of these sorts of underwriting guidelines are really hard. They're hard to anticipate because they're so foreign to us.
The ticket here is documented. We have to somehow document that maybe that person has the income to pay cash, or maybe he's giving a money order, or maybe he's giving something. We have to document it some way. It has to make sense to an underwriter. So we have to show something. It can't just be pulled out of the air. We do have to document.
Wouldn't that prove it that he's
lives there, like an address?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
do that, that's one part
Yeah.
of it.
Bill?
Mhm,
Right.
Yeah, like a bill, a utility bill maybe,
Right.
or a bill of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With receipts possibly?
yeah, with receipts
Yeah, with
possibly,
receipts,
yes.
sure. That'll work.
The answer to everything is it depends. It depends.
That's right.
But yeah, it has to make, the scenario, the story has to make sense, and we do have to give and provide as much documentation as possible, because these are special features, they're special cases. Yes, Michelle?
On the non-borrower household income, I know you said grandma could be included in the income, could it be a friend, or is it just limited to family, immediate family just can be included on the income?
Well, that's a really good question. I'm gonna have to take that as a takeaway.
I looked for an
because
answer to that and couldn't find it. So again, this is just the kind of stuff, it says,
It depends, yeah.
the guidelines actually spell out family, but we don't know how extended we can make that.
It was borrower, non-borrower income. Can it be a friend or does it have to be family? That was the question. We don't know, we'll have to get back to you, so.
It could very well be like a partner, right? That's not really family because they're not married yet.
Yeah, you're
Right.
right, absolutely,
Sure.
uh-huh.
He or
yeah.
she could be
Sure.
living with he
Uh-huh.
or she.
Sure.
You guys are so creative,
Yeah.
wow, that's great. But yes, I'm sure that with the correct documentation and explanation letters, that on this particular program, that's what they're featuring, is those kind of special products and
Documentation
scenarios.
is the key.
Yeah, all right. Any other questions? You guys are good, just dumping us. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any programs for people that may have bought in the last year to refinance out of that MIP?
Yes, we do. We do have some, however, on most of the programs, we need to have 20% equity position. So it just depends. It depends on how much their appraised value is going to be. It depends on how much their principal mortgage is. It depends on how much their loan to value is. But yes, there are programs available.
Is there a time frame?
1 year. They like to see 1 year, yeah. Yes?
What's your guidelines on first-time buyer? Joe bought a house 2
Yeah.
years prior.
A first-time home buyer, that's a great question. A first-time home buyer is defined that somebody that has not had ownership interest in a home in the past 3 years. So after 3 years, you're a first-time home buyer again.
In a residential property?
Yes.
In a first-time buyer situation, can somebody buy, say, like a triplex and get them on a program like that?
Yes.
And then use that money of the projected income from that
Yes.
for a higher?
Yes, that's allowed.
Okay.
1 to 4 units.
1 to 4.
Yes.
Does the first-time home buyer status apply even if somebody has had an issue with a short sale previously in their history or foreclosure? Is it just strictly, or does that count against them?
Well, if they've had ownership interest, short sale, foreclosure, what have you, if they've had ownership interest in the past 3 years, they're generally considered, they're not considered first-time home buyers.
So there's nothing held against them beyond that 3 years?
Nope.
Okay.
Great questions, woo! Are there any others? Yes.
What's the time frame for closing those?
On our regular conventional and our home ready programs, we're at a 30-day escrow right now. On the Calpapas, they need a little bit extra time. We're looking at 45 days. So from 30 to 45 days, depending on program. With an extension, who said that? Where's Patrice?
But wait, let me ask you about VA though.
Yes.
So now VA, you don't have to send it down there anymore for approval. It's just all done in house. Is that it?
Right. All of our VA is done in house now.
That's correct.
Okay.
So on the home ready, you want to recognize that it's an address-sensitive program. So you can't, a lender can't really totally qualify a borrower unless that lender knows where that house is that they're buying. So just keep that in mind, and if you're looking at your buyer in that direction. Yes.
What has been the turnaround time for appraisers now? What are we looking at? 2 weeks?
Appraisals,
A
no,
week?
appraisals are at 1 week.
About a
So,
week.
for example, if we order the appraisal on a Monday, we usually get it back on a Monday. That's the normal turn time in 7 days.
Maybe a day or two over, run over a little bit, but a
Week and a half.
Week and a
Yeah.
half, yep.
That's a good
Are
question.
these programs only for standard housing, or maybe could be for mobile homes, multifamily?
Well, it's for 1 to 4 units, and I don't think manufactured housing is allowed, or mobile homes is not allowed, so stick built. Any other questions? You guys are good. Yeah, look at all this. Kathy, go ahead.
So once you have they have a home picked out, how long will it take to get them qualified for that?
Once they have a home picked out, well, hopefully you've done your pre-approval before you go out and show them houses. But after you get an offer accepted and we have the buyer's paperwork, then that's when our time frame starts. So when we have a loan package to submit, then we can do the 30 days or the 45 days for CalHAPA.
Are you asking about the pre-qual time to pre-qualify?
No, for the home admin program.
Right, it happens instantly. We'll know right away if you've got an address or a neighborhood. And as we pre-qualify the client and communicate with you, expressing what their needs are, maybe that what you end up doing is going on that website and finding a neighborhood that'll fit for them, knowing that okay, I can buy them a house, but it's got to be here, or here.
Yep. Exactly. That's Barbie.
It does say in here manufacturing housing, so.
Oh, okay, sorry, they're
the
new.
home ready.
So manufactured housing on the home ready, is that your home ready flyer?
Yeah.
Okay, manufactured housing is not available on the CalHAPA.
But it's probably not in a park.
Not in a park, no parks, no
So
mobile
the
homes.
permanent foundation requirement.
Permanent foundation, yes. Yes.
You mentioned something about the income and a business owner and a lot of expenses that you're saying that, did I hear it right? They're looking at the gross income? Is that what you were
You're talking about the
saying?
2106 expenses, the unreimbursed business expenses.
Okay.
Yeah, those write-offs that happen on your tax return, creative accountants do for you, count against you. They get subtracted from your income on an FHA transaction. They subtract it.
Yeah.
And on a conventional transaction with a W-2 buyer, they just look sideways.
Yes, Patrice.
I had a refi question. I have a guy, him and his sister is on title, but they want to refinance, but the brother has the good credit and one of the other guy on title doesn't. Does the brother have to go on title to help them in their refinance?
Well, there has to be continuity of ownership. So if you have 2 people on the house now, one of them has to remain on the house and they can add a second person or an outside person. Does that make sense? But one of them has to remain on the old loan and on the new loan.
Oh, okay, so the brother necessarily doesn't need to go on, they can just use his credit.
So this brother,
Right.
this brother, the one that owns the house now,
Right.
right, he's gonna need to go on the loan and the title.
Mm-hmm.
And then this brother can be added on if he wants.
He doesn't want to add him on, he just wants to use his credit score. And
He wants to use his credit score?
His credit score and his income to refinance.
What do you think, Dan?
I don't know if I'm ready to, I think that there are some refinance opportunities here, but I'm not really.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that one as a takeaway too on the Home Ready program. Yeah. Yes.
I've heard the terminology pre-qualify and pre-approved. From their standpoint, from a standpoint as a realtor, what do we feel more secure with in terms of knowing that particular loan may be carried out to its fruition?
Okay, so the difference between a pre-qualification and a pre-approval is a pre-qualification is basically a conversation and a credit report. That's a pre-qualification. Yes, from what we're talking about, we have a program that you will fit into. You're pre-qualified. That's a pre-qualification. A pre-approval, on the other hand, is when we have the conversation and we verify the documentation that goes along with it. So for example, the pay stubs, the W-2s, the bank statements, all the information has been verified. Now you have a pre-approval.
Yeah, I guess I would just add that.
What's your standard of practice? Do you normally go with the pre-approvals or?
Pre-approvals, yes.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. I mean, pre-qualifications are useless. They're useless pieces of paper. You see them all the time. They come across my desk and they'll be from one bank or another, and they don't have a clue. There are a million guideline changes that are happening on this side of the fence all the time. If you're not all over it and really looking at all that stuff, and all the documentation and all the detail, then anything that you say is real is not. You know, the only way to know what you're getting is to get a true, full pre-approval, which is what Kathy and I both do. We won't let it go out of our, if we don't think it can close, we won't let it go out the door. We won't let it go out the door.
I can print pre-qualification letters all day long, give you pre-qualifications. It's not worth the paper it's written on unless you actually have something that can happen once it does go into underwriting.
So if we get offers with pre-qualifications, you're saying that we should probably not pay close attention to those?
I would suggest that they get a pre-approval.
Yeah, I'd get a second look at them. I think, you know, getting a DU is always a good idea. I mean, the DUs they're garbage in, garbage out. They're only as good as the information that's put in or the understanding that goes into the machine. But they are a different level. You know, they are a step up, and they can stop you from making a mistake as a loan officer. I mean, you know, one area where that's really been obvious recently is in the VA loans. I mean, VA guidelines have tightened up so much and changed so much that you can get in trouble on a VA loan pretty quickly. What you thought would work last year doesn't work this year, and DU can really help you see that.
She has a question.
Okay, Patrice, go.
That's what I was gonna say. So the DU approval is better than the pre-approval, right? Direct underwriting.
Well, the DU is an automated underwriting system. So what we put in, and we manually put in the information in there. So if I put $2,500 for income, and then I look at the pay stub and, oh crap, it's only $1,800. Well, the information, your DU is useless now. You see what I mean? So you want to verify the actual document with what you do put into DU, and then that's a pre-approval.
Okay.
Yes.
If I received a pre-approval letter with an offer, I mean, I would present it to the seller, but then I would also follow up that you get an approval letter.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, sometimes you need it just to get that offer.
Sure. We can't tell you how to be real estate agents. We can just tell you, you know.
I know the best one is the approval letter. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Sometimes during the time crunch, it says I present offers tomorrow morning.
Sure.
This
Yeah.
afternoon, 4 p.m.
Yeah.
You don't have time to, you know.
Right. And everybody, I mean, brokers would always suggest that, okay, get your pre-approval letter, that you know that your buyer is going to qualify and things are going to fall flat.
While you're showing houses.
While you're out driving around wasting your gas showing houses, you know what I mean? So it's a decision that you have to make for your business. Yeah. Yes, Rosie.
I attended a little seminar that one of the title companies had in Valencia, and that particular lender talked about having personal loans along or tied in with the loan program they were going to put the buyer in. They were helping them pay off their credit debt and also helping them buy a house all at the same time. Is that something that you guys?
Well, that's hard money. Those are basically hard money loans, so it's a personal loan. So the terms on those are a little bit different and may or may not go along with Fannie Freddie guidelines.
Does Pacific Funding provide that option?
No, they're not portfolio. They're not private money lenders or portfolio lenders. They are direct lenders, which means they work directly with Fannie and Freddie. Yes.
You ready? Okay.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Mine is a little off. It's about TRID because a lot of loans that we've been closing have been delayed because the lenders, I talked to escrow and they're like, I don't know why they think they're going to close. They haven't sent us the disclosure yet.
Right.
So how do you guys address that?
Okay, so how we address it, and I'll tell you, and then you can interject there. Okay, so on TRID, there are time delays that we weren't used to prior to TRID coming out. So generally at loan approval stage, the lender is now working as a settlement agent, basically. So now the lender has to disclose the fees from all the parties. Instead of escrow doing that, now the lender does that. So the lender needs everybody's fees. Needs escrow's fees, we need title's fees, we need the appraiser's fees, we need all the fees that are in the loan program. And then we compile it into a document called a CD, or a closing disclosure. That closing disclosure is created and sent to the buyer The buyer then has to acknowledge the fees. They have to say, yes, these are the fees that I'm willing to pay. Let me sign this thing. They send it back. They have 3 days to review that closing disclosure. Nothing can happen, or a signing can't happen, until 3 days has passed after that signing disclosure. If something changes, that changes the tolerance levels or meets the tolerance levels, then we have to start again. Another CD has to be issued with the correction. 3 more days for the borrower to review it. And that's where things start getting a little hairy with the time frames.
And I just wanted to say along those lines, I didn't know, because the lender would tell me, I'm the listing agent, the lender would tell me, oh yeah, we already got the disclosures taken care of. And then the escrow would tell me, no, they haven't, and I didn't know why, but now I know
There's a couple of
escrow
different
sends them the
disclosures.
fees,
Yeah.
and if they haven't sent them the fees, they know.
Right.
Right.
So in the beginning, there's something called an LE, which is a loan estimate. So, and they have to get that out. And then at the end, there's a CD. There may not be just one CD. There may be 2 or 3 or 4 CDs, depending on if the fees change. But
I think everybody's getting better at it too. You know, escrow companies are getting better. I had the worst escrows in the past 2 months that I've had in 5 years. Honest to goodness, really.
Yeah, but everyone's getting used to
really
TRID and they're getting
awful
better.
ones.
Yeah.
And
They're
you know,
getting better.
and the same thing is true on the lender side. You just hear nightmares because we've been made responsible for the accuracy of all this stuff. If we make one mistake, we have a loan that we have nothing to do, that we can't use. We've got to buy it. We've got to own it. That's not the business lenders are in. Lenders buy this paper, move it on to Fannie, Freddie, FHA, GSAs. You know, it's the business we're in. And if we make one mistake in this TRID world, it's very, very unforgiving. So lenders are more cautious. Escrow companies are slower than ever. But my experience is recently things are speeding up a lot. I know that at PFMD we are way better now than we were 4 or 5 weeks ago. Way, way better now. And I think that probably everybody is.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. Yes?
There is a lot of people buying, you know, in the valley, right? More expensive than this area. Let's say it is a couple that she's making 70,000. He makes 30,000, right? That is like what, $100,000.
Sure.
But he only declares 25% of the 30,000. Can we work that out?
Meaning, like, is she self-employed and she makes 30,000, but she has write-offs for?
No, let's say she's making $70,000, but she's okay with that. She can prove it.
Right.
But he's making, let's say, 40,000, but
Right.
he reports only 20
Okay.
or 15,000.
So he cheats on his taxes.
Fannie Mae has a new program. It's called Cheat the Government.
Yeah.
Cheat Gov, I think is that.
It's going to be what's on paper.
Yeah, there is a lot of people.
The underwriter's going to
Yeah,
look
right.
at what's on
It is.
paper,
It
on
is
what's
true.
on the taxes,
It's
and
most
they're
people.
going to average it out for you. That's basically what
We
they're going to do.
would have to document.
Yes, Michelle?
For buyers that need some credit assistance, do you work hand in hand with another company that helps to repair their credit?
Yes, we do have a credit repair program. I use Continental Credit. I've gotten fantastic results from them. Not every buyer, and we'll go over this in detail. I can send you the information on it. Not every buyer is ready to go into credit repair. We get them to a point where they are ready for credit repair. We put them into the program. They come out about 6 months later and they qualify. We give them back to you. So we'll go into that too.
Do you happen to know what the fees are in general?
Yeah, it's $189 to sign up, and it's $69 per month. When they get the referral from me at Pacific Funding, they take $100 off of that. So now it's $89 to sign up, $69 per month. And they just use what they need. So if they need to be in there 6 months, they pay for 6 months. And if you've ever looked in the credit repair report, it's expensive. It's thousands of dollars. So this one is very affordable, and it works if you work it. So like I said, not everyone's ready to go into the program. We get them ready first, and then we put them into the program. So I can give you more information on that. And last question, Kathy.
Is someone that speaks Spanish in your office?
Yes, we do have Daisy who speaks Spanish. She is available from regular office hours, so 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Okay, Yannette.
In those 3 days, do they go to you, the buyers, for all those numbers and stuff? I'm sure they're gonna
they can come to us because we're the ones that prepare that CD. Oh, yeah. All right. And now we have raffles and prizes.